There we are.
What's up, guys? Sorry. Jesus, this thing is a... Oh, love the internet. All right, welcome to the horror show.
Hallelujah.
I'm Cecil Laird.
Fuego here.
And we are here to finally do our review of Stephen King's It, the new version, 2017.
Andy Muschietti.
Yes, and the way we're going to do this, you guys, is we're going to do it like our normal reviews. We're going to talk about our overall thoughts, our thoughts on the story, the acting, the effects, all that good stuff. But we are going to do that all before we get to the comments. So we will get to the comments at the end. So those of you that come later and don't want to see us doing all the comments, you don't have to worry about it. We're going to jump right into it. So,
let's do it, man.
My overall opinion is I fucking loved this movie. I thought it was awesome. Pennywise was scarier than he's ever been. I'm sorry to all of you Tim Curry fanatics. All of you guys are going to be like, no way, Tim Curry's scarier. Guys, I'm here to tell you, Tim Curry is not scarier. He is not scarier in this movie. This was so awesome. The Pennywise, like I said, was scarier than he's ever been. The kids are amazing. The story was great. I loved it overall. Fuego.
I really enjoyed it. I really liked it a lot. I can't say I was completely over the moon for it, but that's just because of the fact that they altered a lot of the source material. And the one thing I have to at least warn lovers of the book is the fact that this is definitely more so an interpretation than an adaptation.
Really?
Yes, but I still really, really liked it despite some of the changes. Skarsgård was great. The kids were incredible, and I really liked it. I wanted to like it more. I honestly wanted it to be longer.
It was 2.5 hours, though. That wasn't long enough?
They still grazed over so much, even with the kids. I mean, we're talking almost a 1,200-page book. So
well, but still.
I felt like certain things needed a little bit more attention, but as a whole, as a new interpretation of the source material, I really, really liked it.
Okay.
I do not have a lot bad to talk about with this movie.
Okay. Well, let's jump into the story, which we probably don't need to say very much of, because if you guys have read the book or if you've seen the original 1990 miniseries, this is the kids' portion of the tale.
Yeah, and this is where they change the most. You know, with certain things
well,
they
you haven't
altered.
seen the adult one yet.
Well, true, but even as kids, this is where they change up a lot of the creatures. They change up certain motivations and like who certain characters are, you know, and certain associations. So there were some discrepancies, but I don't think that there was anything necessarily negative. That's why I'm calling it an interpretation instead of an adaptation, because adaptations really strive to be faithful, and where they were faithful here and where they did an exceptional job was where they adapted the kindred spirit in the story of how all the kids came together. They didn't really differ too much on that, and just the camaraderie and the way that they just band together and stuff, and they were actually more faithful in certain aspects too, and explained a little bit more about like conflict amongst certain characters at times and whatnot. So they adapted the stuff they adapted, they did very faithfully and awesomely, but there's a lot changed in some aspects, and it's not necessarily for the bad. So
that is coming from someone that has actually read the novel. I have not.
Yes.
So as someone that has only seen the 1990 miniseries, my perspective is I loved it. I loved how the story played out. There was literally the only criticism I could levy against this movie is there were a couple times where I was like, feels maybe just a tad too long. Just
really?
a tad too long.
It's funny that I felt
just
opposite.
a tad, just the tiniest
longer.
bit. Honestly, and that's the only criticism that I would want to levy against it. Like, I enjoyed myself so much, and the story was good. Again, the story was very similar to the original, but I got to see so much more cool stuff.
Yeah.
There was so much cool stuff in this.
Yeah.
Pennywise was legit terrifying as hell to me.
That I agree with.
Oh my God. And from the very first Georgie Scene, I didn't watch what they released, but they cannot have released every second of that. Because there was some aggressive teeth action that they would not have ruined in that release.
Yeah, and without spoiling anything, it's it's a much more intense representation.
Hell yeah!
Of maybe one of the biggest and scariest beats in the entire series, whether it's the miniseries, the original book, or in this, but it's R-rated.
Machete basically stands up and whips out his R-rated thing right at the very beginning. He lets you... Right. Perfect. Even it works with it. Let's roll with that. No, it... Honestly, right up front, you're like, oh shit, this is R-rated. And I had to sort of remind myself, too, because... Like, I thought for some reason I had heard, you mentioned something about someone claiming it was PG-13 going into it.
No, it was on the screener invite.
It was on the screener invite, right? Yeah, PG-13.
Yeah.
But no, it was definitely R, and you're like, no, it's R. And then, like, the amount of Fs in this movie definitely made it R-rated alone. But the gore... Whoo!
They let the kids basically cut loose the way they actually talked in the book, you know. I mean,
and it was set in 1989, I think, was the main.
Yeah, 88.
It starts in 88, carries into 89. Yeah.
Yeah. So presumably, when the new film comes out, it's going to be taking place a few years behind.
2016 is when it would be, right? Or no, if it was 89, it would be 2000 or
2015.
2015, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, usually the cycle starts at the beginning of one year, and then it basically lasts for almost a year. So around 27 years is when the creature reemerges and the violence level goes up. And
oh man, he was so cool. Oh, I can't wait to talk about.
Yeah, and they explored.
Well, yeah, okay, we'll get to it.
Yeah. And they explored just more so. Well, no, I guess I can't necessarily say that, but they delve at least more into the backstory of all the evil stuff in Derry. Now, they'll kind of skim over it a little bit once again, but the fact that certain stuff that we saw in the books gets mentioned, that
like what?
Well,
or is it spoilery?
It might be. I mean, if anyone who has read the book knows, they besides the egg hunt and the black
the egg
spot,
hunt was cool. I was like,
the
ooh.
black spot, because they very briefly mentioned the egg hunt for like one sentence in the original in the original miniseries, but it's a big scary beat, and they gave some hints about other beats that they didn't show in the original miniseries, because in the book too, they go like all kinds of stories every 27 years going back in the 1800s, you know, with like lumberjacks killing each other and with mobster fights and just all kinds of other insane things. And so you see a much more extensive history of the violence that Pennywise brings about. And so I thought it was cool the way the kids seemed a little bit more interested in exploring that history and stuff, and they kind of twist around a little bit of who has the most fascination with it, which I thought was cool too. And that's a good segue into the acting.
Well, no, before we do that, actually, yes. I want to hit, was it scary?
Yeah, there was some genuinely unnerving beats in the storytelling, and
oh my god!
But I mean, the scariness for me goes more so into the effects when we would get into that. And
well, okay, all right. Oh, I want to just talk about it so bad. All right, so we'll talk about the scary after we talk about the acting.
Yes.
So, I'm a prisoner of my own format. All right, so here we go.
I mean, let's talk Skarsgård first and foremost, then, with his.
No. Let's finish with him, because that'll segue into the effects for Pennywise.
Okay.
All right. Good. So the kids.
I just wanted to...
Before the kids, the adults in the town, the ones that they show briefly in the trailer, I actually thought they were really good. Yeah. You saw the mom briefly, and you saw the pharmacist briefly. Mm-hmm. And both of them, I thought were really cool. And the dad, Bev's dad, when he shows up, he's cool. He's a good actor, in other words. He plays the role well.
He was on par with the guy from the miniseries for me, where he didn't wow me extensively, but he was good.
Well, I mean, how much can a very pedophile, like,
which isn't a spoiler,
guy,
like, you know.
No, it's not. But you know, how much can he really impress you? But I get it. I get it. Yeah, I thought he was fine. Mm-hmm. The adults, I guess, but no, the pharmacist I thought was good. He was creeptastic in the right ways, and the mom was good too. I thought she was cool too when we got. But I'm pretty sure it felt very fat suity, but outside of that, I thought maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm wrong, but nonetheless, outside of that, I mean, not around the face and stuff, but it felt like they increased the midsection a bit.
I want to talk about the kids.
Let's talk about the kids,
the Losers Club, man, because we knew Finn Wolfhard was going to bring it, and he does. Trashmouth Tozer
Richie Tozier, beep, Richie stole the show.
In some ways, but I really want to mention the kid who played Ben Hanscom.
We'll talk to him. We'll talk about him. Let's finish with Richie first, though. Okay. You started with Richie. Let's talk about Richie. Yeah, he was awesome, guys. There was such fantastic dialogue in this movie. You could watch this, and it felt like Stranger Things.
It felt like Stranger Things. It felt like a little bit of South Park. It felt like a lot of my childhood when we were like in our like 10 to 13, 14 range, and we're just discovering swearing, and we're just being ridiculous and raunch about stuff, and yet funny and endearing naivety. Almost about about all of it, and it's cute in the funniness, you know.
It's hilarious, dude. The dialogue was amazing between. It felt like kids, man. It really did, genuinely. Just like Stranger Things did. And this one did the same thing, except like
it also showed that Andy brought really great performances out of these kids, and the team that he had assembled the cast did a hell of a job. The camaraderie felt real. It felt genuine. And when you hear about just
they earned everything that we got through the movie.
Yeah,
they really did. Like you said, let's move on to Ben then.
I want to talk about Ben because he had so much more.
Ben is the larger of the Losers Club.
Truly, and I liked the kid from I can't remember if he was in The Big Green or whatever. He was an early '90s kid actor that I saw.
The redhead kid?
No. He was a blonde flat top kid in the miniseries.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw The Big Green.
Well, he also was endeared with. That was a different kid, but nonetheless, man, I really not so much that I felt worse for him or anything, but I cared more about him, and I thought that they really gave him much more, and just him and Beverly really stole the show for me, because you can tell, like, the whole, without spoiling much, I mean, and anyone familiar with the source material knows there's kind of like a little love triangle thing going on,
right.
You know, where Beverly likes Bill, and yet, you know, Ben likes her, and anyone who's read the book knows how that all ends up going down in the end, but I just really dug the connection, and Beverly and Ben, almost for me, I enjoyed more so than even Finn, you know, just because I love their performances so much, and
Beverly was amazing.
They felt so multi-layered, and there was so much of a just care and conviction, and I mean misunderstanding, and both characters get a lot of shit, you know. I mean, the girl's giving Beverly shit, and then, you know, Ben with no friends, you know, being the overweight, you know, kind of kid who wants to go isolate, who I can relate a lot to, being a chubby kid, man, and, you know, being a nerd and without a lot of friends. And so I relate so much to the Losers Club because of the fact that I was a flat top kid with Coke bottle glasses, and
I was Ben Hanscom.
Well, I wasn't too far off, man, you know, seriously. And I relate so much to the Losers Club, and the fact that you feel like outcasts, and then when you find people who you actually connect with and, I mean, have a genuine love with, you felt that so much with this group. And
absolutely, you did.
Credit to the people behind the casting, and obviously
so Ben was good. Let's talk about Beverly. Right, she was amazing. I thought she was great, and I don't remember the hair thing, but I don't know if that was
different.
In the.
No, it's because it's the '80s.
That was so good, though. It was so well done. Such a rebel thing.
If you've seen the trailers, you see she goes from long hair to short hair.
Man,
so that's not really...
she was so good. Like I really dug her. I wished I had a Beverly. We had our own sort of Beverlys, but not quite Beverly. Growing up, and she was a great little actress. She was like really like a really good scared actress. And I'll talk. You know, I want to relate the kids to the story in so much as I loved how not choppy this felt compared to the original miniseries.
Yeah, we were talking long takes with these kids because.
Every one of them got their time to show what they were scared of.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to the kid who played Eddie too, because
Eddie Spaghetti.
He had the timidness a little bit of the original character in the miniseries at least, but there was more of the feistiness that we see in the character as he tries to rebel from the mother, and as he tries to really become his own person, and his friends are rubbing off on him. a little bit. So I thought the kid who played Eddie was also, he has to be mentioned too.
Yeah.
Those were definitely, I mean, Finn, Eddie, Bev, and Ben were my
only
personal
two
favorites.
not standouts were Stan and Mike.
Yeah, and
I think they both got a little bit of short shrift.
They didn't get enough screen time.
Yeah.
Those were some of the things where, I mean, you see like these almost like montage-y type
Stan,
scenes.
I understand why, knowing what happens, but
well, spoilers for those who don't know.
No, I didn't give anything away. Don't say spoilers. Sorry.
Yeah, but Mike was also glossed
Mike,
over.
I thought was a little
bit.
underserved.
And I have to mention the actor who played Bill, because even though I liked him,
he was great.
I liked him a lot, but in some ways I don't feel like he exuded the type of power that they described the character having in the book, and that I thought the Jonathan Brandis kid from Sequest actually, he felt more like a hero type kid taking the initiative.
I could see
Whereas
that.
This Bill character, he almost felt more timid at times than even Eddie did. Eddie
but
had more of a snappiness to him, and he was more of like the in mourning, somber kid whose brother is dead.
No, I disagree. I disagree. I think they turned that. He was the bravest one that wanted to keep.
He was the one who had the agenda and the vendetta, and he sort of pulls them all into it. So that was fateful.
I think he again. I agree with you. I understand what you're saying, in so much as he did seem a little weaker at times, and they leaned on the stutter a lot.
They did.
Every sentence was really hard for him almost through the whole way, except for one which really was cool, but that made it impactful.
And they showed that as a change in the character, really kind of getting ready to nut up. So,
but yeah, I thought Bill was good. I thought also let's mention Georgie.
The Georgie kid.
Georgie kid.
Genuinely creepy, and also
hang on, relax. Let's not spoil. I'm just kidding.
Come on,
No, I know. And we all saw him in the trailer going, "You'll float too. You'll float too.
But also,
you'll float too."
But some of the more,
Jesus Christ.
I know you went for it.
That's what I felt when I saw that.
Some of the more tender scenes with him, though, I thought
great.
Really. You
hit home so much more.
You almost sense the love between the two characters more than in the miniseries, obviously.
Well,
it was a better representation of the source material.
But they did that very similar. That first scene is very similar with Georgie having to go to the basement, although they took a little bit more time with it. And then they
it's did in the book too. It's like pretty much beat for beat.
That was good, but they went back to it, and without spoiling anything, like. There's a whole tie-in, stuff that Georgie's concerned about when the boat gets loose. That comes back later on. And, oh my God, can we please use that as a segue to talk about when Georgie meets Pennywise? Okay. No, let's talk about Skarsgård.
Okay, yes, because he's the only actor.
He's the only actor we haven't talked about. And I think the perfect place to start is the tone-setting scene of the Georgie scene, which is the first scene in the movie. That's not a surprise. They've released a 4-minute version of it. It was longer than 4 minutes. So I know there's stuff they must have cut out. And, dude, I'm telling you, Skarsgård, from the very beginning, I was on board. He, that not only is the, here, take it, that it is in there, yes, but there's so much more. He runs it's so crazy. He runs the gamut from childlike Pennywise, there's all kinds of cool things down here, to the come down. He goes all the way almost to the Tim Curry.
The voice cracks. It goes up and down.
Oh, it's so good.
The confliction in the character where it's almost like a predator playing with its meat.
Yes, the whole movie, that's what it was.
Because it's trying to find the best tactic.
It was literally, if you had to liken it to anything, what would you liken it to? A spider playing with its flies. Oh my God, it was so well done. Yeah. And there was allusions to that particular thing without spoiling anything. Which I
thought was good, even after Andy denied some things in the press. Yeah, man, his performance, it went much more so for the horrific side of things.
So good.
And it was actually
there was
a lot more prevalent than even Pennywise's presence in the original miniseries.
Oh, way more.
Because you
way
see him
more.
a little bit in there.
Well, because it makes sense. Again, if you think about it, the original miniseries broke down to 3 hours, which means it was an hour and a half in kids, an hour and a half in adults.
Yep.
We got 2.5 hours with
some
kids.
of the flashbacks in the first half.
But they were
just like
able to do so much more, and thank God they did, because I'm telling you guys, I got goosebumps no less than like 7 or 8 times in this, and there were numerous times where I'm like, I had my mouth covered. I was like, Jesus Christ!
There's some unnerving stuff.
Like
yes.
the imagery that you will come away with from Pennywise, and what I wanted to get at a little earlier is the unexpectedness of some of the scares. Even though you expect a scare, how they scare you was truly unexpected for me sometimes, having not read the book.
Yeah, which is actually good because this was different from the book and from the miniseries in pretty much the predominance of the scares. And that was actually something that's why I keep saying interpretation instead of adaptation, because I want every hardcore King fan to realize that's going into this. The people who aren't that initiated, you're going to adore this movie and it's not going to be an issue. The comparative aspect is where just know that this is a different take on it, and King condoned all the alterations because he ended up liking it so much more than he expected to, and with good reason. It's really its own thing in a lot of ways, which is what I appreciated so much about it. And even as we're reviewing it here, I'm thinking about how much more I liked it because of the fact that it was
so good, dude.
It was very good, very damn good.
Am I wrong, or was there a tear wipe at the end?
I had a few. You know,
I thought
because
so.
It's the whole innocence loss thing and going through.
There was a couple of really great moments.
Yeah, a couple. There's
a shit ton. But I'm talking about that kind of great moments.
Yeah, and it really reminds me of my childhood and those few close, not so super popular friends that I had, and yet how we banded together and just the adventures we had that weren't.
Would I be out of line saying that this felt like the Sandlot in the It world?
Because of the smack talking and everything,
because of the interplay with the group and all of that, I think the interplay between the kids and the Sandlot is way closer to the interplay with this than the kids in the original It miniseries.
Well,
quite frankly,
the original miniseries didn't really show that they got so comfortable with each other that they could tease each other constantly and still love each other and still just have that camaraderie and that presence and that kinship. And
Finn Wolfhard's lines, dude. There was a couple. Like, I want to ruin some, but I don't. Yeah. Because you guys, you deserve.
That we were talking about on
the one that deserved the up top was like, oh my god. Yeah. You guys, we're not ruining it. Trust me, we're not ruining it. Yeah. I don't want to ruin it for you guys. That's the point of it being not. Yeah. That's the funny thing. We've been talking for a while, and we have more people watching than we've ever had watch a live stream right now, which is pretty awesome. That's fun. But dude, there is so much laughter coming out of the dialogue from that kid.
That's another thing which is so balanced about this movie, if we're talking about both performances and story, is the fact that they juggled those tender, youthful scenes where you're almost like a fly on the wall, and it's just hilarious, and you're loving it with those horrific moments. They did it so well.
And there's so many of those,
they balanced the tone so well.
There's so many of those horrific moments.
It's too much of one, it's too much of the other, but those scenes of just feeling like you're a fly on the wall with this club and like you're right there with them as one of their friends and you're right back in the midst of your childhood. They gave you breathing room and almost like that false sense of just kind of, okay, where things are calming before the storm actually came, and, you know, effed up stuff goes down. And because when the violence comes, without spoiling much, it's R-rated. This is an R-rated horror movie.
God, dude.
And very genuinely R-rated. And deliberately made as such, which as a lover of the source material,
I'll be right back.
Which as a lover of the source material, I respect so much that they really went for it, and beyond that had the support of the studio to do such.
Yeah, a lot of really cool, unexpected stuff, you guys. Stuff is as simple as like, just like, like it's like there's some amazing. You're just like, what the hell was that? And like it
We're talking some book stuff.
God.
If it's
was
what
that
I
in the
know,
book? Really? Oh man, that was such an off moment. Just like random. Like that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about when I say unexpected stuff.
Yeah.
Like unexpected things where you're just like Jesus. And there was these little subtle hints too. Like in the Georgie scene, if you've watched it, again, I'm not spoiling anything, but the first time Pennywise shows up, you see his eyes, and they're yellow. But as soon as he crosses out of shadow, they turn to the blue, like the friendly. And, those yellow eyes. And the time when he's in the meat locker sort of thing, like, that was even creepy. Like, every time you
yellow
saw
eyes
him,
almost being like when he's engaging the deadlights.
Yes. Oh, the deadlights! Do you guys get to see what the deadlights are? And you see why it's even more terrifying than I ever thought it could be.
Because of some alterations they make to the Pennywise character without divulging much.
It was so good. And I'm here to tell you guys, that scene that they actually showed in the trailer, the slideshow.
Okay.
There's so much more.
As you probably expected.
That scare is so much bigger than you could possibly imagine. And it is like literally,
and also,
without being in a 3D theater, it made me jump back in my seat a little bit to scoot away.
Well, I also jumped back a little bit with the recreation of a particular legendary scene with Beverly from the books and from the miniseries, and I thought they did a great job.
They actually made it a little bit grudgy. So yeah, there's definitely a nod to the Grudge, but apparently it led to what I heard people walking out of the theater, what they were saying, and one of the guys was saying was like, man, that scene where they're cleaning up the blood, that's a real feel-good scene. And that happens to be the only scene that I went to go pee.
No, you missed it. Yeah, that's right.
That was like, I knew it was a montage coming. I'm like, montage, perfect time to pee.
But it felt very 80s, though, and it's once again...
So how was that? Tell me, how was that? I mean, that again is in the miniseries, so it's not a spoiler.
Yeah, and it's in the books, too. Those moments, there were such great moments of breathing room that I felt like really didn't feel cheesy, like at times they did in the original miniseries. As much as I love the Temptations, like the bike riding scene with the Temptations and everything, you gotta smile so bright. I mean, certain parts were, but they were endearing of the
I wish
era.
I knew the words.
You know. Yeah, well, you could have been anything you wanted to, and I can tell the way you do the things you do.
Son
And
of a
they
bitch.
did
Goddamn.
great things with this movie. So let's talk about the effects.
Finally. Oh my God.
It's
Okay,
been a long
so
trudge to get that.
here's the thing, you guys. I'm going to reiterate for those that joined late. Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, brother
of the dude from True Blood.
From True Blood.
Younger brother.
Younger brother of the guy from True Blood. No, this is the guy from Hemlock Grove, exactly. Yeah. He was so much... This Pennywise was, to me, way scarier than the Tim Curry Pennywise.
Deliberately, too.
Way scarier, but it is, keep in mind, it is through the lens of the guy that directed Mama.
So I just watched the short of Mama recently, the one that Guillermo del Toro discovered.
I love the movie.
Yeah, I really want to watch the movie now.
But you guys, you should know that there is quite a bit of digital manipulation in this.
There is, yeah,
to Pennywise.
without mentioning a lot, but it's done very well, and it adds significantly more menace to what's going down.
Yeah, and luckily it's like since he takes so many different forms. Each one,
different
like
forms
each one, was Crooked Man level creepiness to me.
Oh yeah.
Like honestly, the
Everybody
leper.
knows the
The
leper.
leper is so much scarier than I thought he was going to be.
I do it for a quarter, kid.
Oh my God, so much scarier.
Yeah.
And like
that scene with him and Eddie was fantastic.
And the scene that you think you know what's going to happen when you see the claw growing out of the glove,
which we thought,
but you don't. You actually it's. Oh my God! Again, I don't want to spoil it, but the look that he had with like this thing going on, oh my God! There was just so like all
of the manipulations.
I'm choking.
You're choking with excitement because of the fact that all of the manipulations were
incredible,
tastefully done, and different without saying too
There's
much.
going to be a lot of
There's distinction.
There's going to be a lot of you, perhaps the Death Twitch, that does not like the newer effects that are employed.
You got to shout out Eric, huh?
But he did, well, no, because I know he's a purist to the practical. And the older stuff.
I am
But he did like The Conjuring, and this was sort of had a lot of scary beats like The Conjuring did.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can definitely, you could feel in some ways the Blumhouse influence that's really prevalent in horror right now, but yet it was done well.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't overdo it. It was balanced tastefully between amazing makeup effects and stuff, and then just a little alteration at times. And then
sometimes a great deal of alteration.
Sometimes, I mean, yeah. And
but the other one, yeah. Well, okay. So there is this particular one that is very Crooked Man reminiscent that Ben has to deal with.
I felt the painting part kind of.
That's the one.
That's the one. That was Stanley.
Was that Stanley? Oh, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right, it was Stanley. Damn, that's right. Because, everyone's got their own nightmare, but it is very Crooked Man-y, but it is so different. And it all actually, it led to one of the scariest scenes in the movie involving Stan. In my opinion. That actually was, if you guys have seen The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy, are you in for a treat. Let me tell you. That scene was amazing.
I thought... I can't say. I can't say.
All right.
I thought they were jumping the gun a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I loved it.
Something happening early.
It made so much sense. Oh, and speaking of, I thought the portrayal of Pennywise's lair, which you get a glimpse of in the trailer when Beverly's being levitated, I thought his lair was amazingly designed and conceived.
It was, and that's actually where I think if you can see it in IMAX, we didn't see it in IMAX, but we saw it on a very nice big screen. But
Brittany hasn't seen it yet. I'm going to take Brittany to the IMAX.
The scope of IMAX, when you get to see that was one of the problems with the TV miniseries, was you could see the budgetary limitations with a lot of the set design.
They did not worry about that.
No, with this you get the scope, man.
You'll all float really finally means something in this movie.
Really high.
Oh my God, it's so cool. But not only that, there's actually a part that's very reminiscent of Spawn to me.
Well, they were
Spawn's throne specifically.
Yeah. And they were great in the just constructing of Nebolt Street's crazy home.
Oh, that house was great.
And the fact that we never got that home in the miniseries was one of my biggest disappointments, even though they divided.
I don't know how that's even possible, considering everything that took place there.
Yeah, it's where, at least in the original book, it's either 3 or 4 different incidents / confrontations go down because they go there a few times, and plus the leper thing with Eddie. And so the fact that they omitted it and just divided those beats elsewhere, like added more to the sewer and added one here at the school and did these different things, that was one thing where I still have to say, effects-wise, there were certain things I was hoping to see in this that I didn't. The demise of one character who's in this, mild spoiler here. If anyone who's read the book who knows who Patrick Hochstadter is...
No, that's not a spoiler. In the trailer, you saw the missing
that he's
poster.
Missing. And so, he dies in this, and I was hoping it was going to be one way, and it's not exactly. But it's still really...
I liked it.
It's still really cool. So that's just a little...
Oh my God.
Little mild thing.
Guys, Pennywise is so scary in this
blood,
movie.
Dude, the blood is there. The gore is there. The eating children thing
is there in full force
and
numerous times.
It's R-rated.
It's so great.
Just anyone who wanted it to be more hardcore in the miniseries, who's familiar with the story or not, or read it or whatever, they go for it, man. And with the effects, they really... The gore was what it needed to be to earn its R rating, if that's fair enough to say without spoiling too much.
If you're scared of disease, this movie will get you. If you're scared of elongated limbs, this movie will get you. If you're scared of elongated jaws, this movie will scare you. If you're scared of bugs, this movie will scare you. If you're scared of blood, this movie will scare you.
Went down,
my God, there's so much in this movie that will scare you.
I thought of you as that scene with the aforementioned was happening.
Which aforementioned?
The elongated jaw.
Fudge sickles, right?
I thought of you as it was going down.
I literally almost pooped myself.
And we see elongated jaws even in the original miniseries where he's just, it's not super.
It's not super elongated.
But just like
they lean into it. And oh my God, it's just so good, you guys.
Yeah.
It's so good. I don't want to oversell it or anything, but
no, and that's why I'm trying,
and
that's why I'm trying to balance things with a little bit of criticism where I can. But as a whole, this is an awesome movie.
Are there any?
I really liked it. There was just certain things that, being a adorer of the book, I wanted to see that weren't there. But there was a few new things. There was a few redesigned things, but as a whole, it all works very, very well. And you guys are going to dig this movie.
For those watching, just so you guys know, this is intentionally a non-spoiler review.
It is.
This Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be logging on to do a spoiler review.
Big group spoiler review.
Group spoiler review with the rest of the channel. So I hope you come back on Saturday then. For those of you that are new, we are a horror variety show. We do 2 episodes every day. Trailer reactions. We do news weekly, which is going to come out tomorrow. Trailer reaction every day. Let's plays, con coverage, celebrity interviews, all that stuff. So thank you guys for tuning into this
music
review.
Stuff. I mean, we're all over the place. Hail to Stephen King.
Hail to Stephen King.
Sunday.
A weekly episode all about Stephen King every Sunday. So let's get back to it though. Okay, I gotta be careful not to spoil.
Back to any other effects. Be careful, sir.
I know, any other effects.
Okay, I can jump in and just say the movie
is
so beautifully and cinematically
Cinematography.
shot. Especially,
we'll talk about music too.
Yeah, jumping around Derry and just the drone shots are beautiful, and it adds so much more cinematic scope compared to what
the reveal and the way they use the cameras for the scares is also brilliant.
Yes,
all goes to cinematography.
And the lighting is a very interesting balance of the creepy, dimly lit with just the bright scenes where they're out in the forest and they're just jumping off rocks and having fun as kids. It balanced the tone visually so well too, and just gave that much more menace to when things got darker.
Oh my God, and dark it got, man. Dark
right,
it for sure got. So I wanted to mention the music because, honestly,
it's in the 80s.
It put me right in the perfect mindset right at the beginning because the movie starts as the logos are going with echoey, distant kids laughing and weird circus kind of music. And it's like, oh God, they're setting a tone already, man. And then oh my God, I can't talk enough about that opening scene and all of the things he says to Georgie, and the circus blew me away. The whole thing's down here and you can smell it. Hot dogs and
that was right in the book.
Oh my God, it was so good, dude. I literally...
He's like, can't you smell the popcorn?
Yeah, I told Fuego after the review and Brittany when I got back here to tell her how much I was liking it, I was like, dude, I was literally that talkative jerk in the theater for the first 45 minutes.
Did they just don't do that?
I was like, I was seriously, I was like, damn, they're making him terrifying. And then when Richie kept saying his lines, I was like, oh, Finn Wolfhard came to play. I couldn't help it. I was so into it. I'm so unfortunately used to movies disappointing us, especially Stephen King properties of late.
Mr. Mercedes thankfully washed the taste out of my mouth
of the Dark Tower. I still haven't watched Mr. Mercedes, but I hear The Mist is really rough, and I know the Dark Tower was really rough. So I was hoping against hope that this would be good, and thank God it really, really was.
It delivered. There's mentioning music. One other thing, creepy atmospheric stuff when there needed to be, especially when you're entering the layer of Pennywise and stuff. The score was great, but there's also some amusing implementations of the era music. One boy band in particular that is kind of a running joke in the film and that I loved. It made me laugh a lot.
Rob's here, and Rob, we were wondering what theater you normally frequent, buddy.
Yeah, because we want to buy you a ticket for this.
So Winston said, I wish you were closer. I would legit pay for your ticket. Rubber Soul, what theater do you go to? There might be a ticket waiting for you this weekend.
Yes, let us know.
South Jersey, Arcane. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh no, Arcane, South Jersey. He just said South Jersey. That's not the theater. Anyway, all right. So, God, we have a lot of comments.
Yeah,
Holy
so that's
Jesus.
why sometimes it's better to take them at least in spoonfuls.
No, that's not the point. The point was to do the review, you guys.
Well, which we did, and so overall, overall, sum it up thoughts for you. How many balloons?
Oh my God, balloons.
I guess you can't.
I'll give it a. You know what?
Do a half balloon.
No, you know what? I will give it.
I'll jump in first. 4 balloons for me, most definitely.
4 out of 5?
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
I'm going to give it...
I know you're kind of leaning towards the latter.
I am so leaning towards the latter. Guys, I
think I might like it even more when I second watch it.
I think so too.
And I want to go see it again.
There's
and
very
actually pay
little
some
I can
money.
hold against it right now. I'm going to give it 5. I'm going to give it 5. 5 balloons.
There you go.
5 out of 5 balloons.
You heard it here first, guys.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. The only I was waffling between 4.5 and 5.
No.
So that's pretty damn close.
Oh,
Even if I say 4.5, fine. If I say 5, there you go.
Hold
I
balloons.
loved it. You guys, it was so amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing.
I really, really liked it. It was damn good, and it did not disappoint me.
No,
it's just,
no, I can't
different.
say that.
It's
Okay.
just different. You gotta go in expecting that.
Okay, so let's just shout people out. We had Brandon Hill, 1993 is here. H2 Kyle, Rowan Harkin, 420 reactions. Ryan Day, 92. Rubber Soul, Sandra. What's up, Sandra?
Yeah, Sandra.
Rocky
Thanks
Treadway,
for the
Shoot
metal
McKay.
music help. Yeah, Shoot McKay.
Excited. Film doesn't come out in Sweden until next Wednesday. Can't wait. You should be excited, Shoot.
It's good.
All right. Thank you for sticking in there, everyone that waited late. Cole, hi. Adam David, what's up? Let's see. Horror Girl fan is here. Will Rube is here. Arcane Nebula is here. And Gabriel Flores. Let's see. Tom H.
Yeah.
Romina Giselle Ortiz. Can't wait to watch it. Still have a long way here because in Argentina it's not released until September 21st.
Oh no!
That's a bummer. Ryan Day 92. Do you happen to be Felicia Day's brother, Ryan Day?
Nah.
All right. Let's see. All right. If I knew that, and I know that, I'm a fan of yours too. But Amanda Tamayo
I feel so
is here.
ineffectual.
I'm sold with your enthusiasm. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get that across, you guys, because I was glowing when I came out of the theater. I literally had to keep my comment to the Allied people who shout out to Allied who got us Patrick and Allied who we got the initial invite
from the big taller guy,
from Carter,
right?
yeah.
Yes, Carter.
All of them, thanks to everyone at Allied, we got to see it early and we got to have a lot of fun doing it, and now we get to provide this review to you guys for it. And not only that, we're doing the review this Saturday, which is going to be a live spoiler review, but next Tuesday night, guys, we do the news live on Tuesday, so that'll be around 5 o'clock. We're going to do the news at 5.
Start shooting for is 5 p.m.
And then we can do the we're going to have a live call-in, a Skype call-in show.
Google Hangout
or a Google Hangout kind of thing, exactly, where people can call in and talk about what they thought of the movie after watching it this weekend.
Woo.
So next Tuesday, pencil that in on your calendars. After the news at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, probably at about 6 or 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll have that call-in hangout where everyone can talk about what they like.
I think 7 sounds
7
good.
probably sounds good.
So then we have a little breathing room.
So 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time next Tuesday for the call-in. Pay attention to the channel and our Twitter and our Facebook at the Horror Show channel on Facebook and at Horror Show 666 on Twitter to find out how you can call in. We'll let all of you guys know in the coming days.
Yeah, we will.
So a few more comments. Sanity is Radical is here. Let's see. I gotta turn up my brightness because I can't see shit.
Yeah, do it, guys.
Spencer Davis, was it actually gruesome? Yes.
At times, so.
It was really gruesome at parts. I'm telling you, it was great. I loved it. You guys know I'm a huge horror fan. A gore fan, I should say.
Gorer,
So much so that also I should mention while everyone's on, this October, you guys, Brittany and I have started the trek, and we are going to be doing the 8 days of Sawloween. So we are leading up to the day we get to review the new Saw movie, Jigsaw. Which technically gets released on the 27th, but we might see an early press screening, so I can't set the exact dates. But every day leading up to that movie, we are going to be reviewing every movie of Saw. So the 8 days of Sawloween coming in October.
Look forward to that.
If you're interested in that. But my point in bringing that up is I'm a big gore fan, and this movie, It 2017, satisfied my gore cravings, I guess is the way to put it.
There you
As
go.
weird as that is.
No, that's fine.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
it did a solid job of it, I gotta say. And as I've reiterated to any new viewers who jumped on in the last few minutes, it earns its R rating. Yeah, it does.
Andrew Campbell is here. Anthony Acevedo is here. Was there a lot of blood? Yes, I think we just got that. Tyler Hahn is here. I saw it tonight. When Eddie said gazebo at that part, I lost my mind. Yes, gazebo was an amazing line. I'm telling you,
just a gazebo.
The dialogue was so good. So good.
Yeah,
Yes.
They did a hell of a job with these kids overall. The casting was great. Certain ones were a little stronger than others, but the ensemble connection. Ensemble. Yeah, they put together a hell of an ensemble. One thing to keep in mind for this weekend's Hail to Stephen King, I'm doing a video entitled...
Bill Stutters, Mauricio Macias. Yes, Bill Stutters.
Because I don't think they showed him stuttering in any of the trailers.
No, he does stutter, for sure.
Yeah. But
almost the whole damn movie.
Yeah, this weekend on Sunday, though, I'm going to be doing a video which is all about what Stephen King's It means to me, like the source material and the story. And I'm also going to be doing my choices for the adult versions of everybody in this sequel movie, which at the very... Well, I mean, it's common knowledge. It's 2 parts, and at the end they confirm that
they do confirm this is
just
part 1.
a chapter, so to speak.
Chapter,
so.
right? Exactly. We have did I say Network at Full is here. I hopped in to say if they liked it, which we did, and that was about a half hour ago that he hopped in.
Yeah.
Zeke's surname is here. God, this is so.
I told you
old
the comments
point.
are
Jesus.
insane.
I'm so sorry, guys. We're so far behind. Did you guys get any trailers before your film? We didn't, but we did do 2 reactions before we did this review.
No, we had 2
we had 2 trailers. Yeah.
The film. Yeah, they showed.
Well, one was
they
the
showed
Justice League trailer.
and Blade Runner 2049, so nothing.
It was a new Blade Runner trailer. I haven't seen that trailer yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did do, just so you guys know, we did record reactions to both Jeepers Creepers 3 and Insidious 4 before we did this, so those will go up in the next day or 2.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Let's see. Rubber Soul messaged me. All right, cool. He messaged me. Hopefully he'll told us his theater location. So
Rubber Soul.
Ant Banks 408. Your trailer reactions and all around content of this movie made me excited to see your review. Can't wait to see this on Friday. Our content for this movie is not over, you guys. There's going to be a lot more coming. So stay tuned to the channel. Stay subscribed. Make sure you click that bell so you know when we go live, because we actually go live a lot with Let's Plays and all kinds of stuff. Young Knight is here. Any cool previews? Yeah, we just mentioned not so much. MR Vacation. Do a film like Burning Moon horror show. Do a film like Burning Moon horror show. I don't know what that means.
Now, one thing to mention is that often at these press screenings, we don't even see any trailers. They just go right into the movie. But we did get those couple that we already mentioned. Justice League, Blade Runner, so yeah.
Ribofilm says strong 4.5 out of 5 for me. Awesome. Yeah. I agree.
It's a strong film.
Justin
really
Mora,
is.
New World Films. I'm staying up. I'm down at the bottom now, so I'm staying up on it. Yeah, this is a lot of Area 1 Productions. Can't wait to watch it. Really anticipating seeing it Thursday night. Steve Testa. Was the editing okay? Yes.
Sharp, yes.
I thought it was really good. Yeah, it actually...
Enough long takes with the kids where it didn't feel choppy, and I mean,
there was a lot of flashy, choppy stuff with Pennywise and
with
his
some
attacks.
of the action sequences, yeah. But I mean...
But God, the
nice
filming
long,
of some of them were
nice,
so cool.
long, not meandrous, but just really tastefully going through the city. Like, you felt the scope of Derry so awesomely in this.
And there was a really cool bit of art direction at the end when I will say Pennywise's performance was really cool. The juxtaposition of what he's standing in front of when he's doing his thing. It's just like the swirling pit of flames and stuff. I'm like, holy shit.
That actually was cool.
Yeah, like they did so much clever stuff, even with the set design. Oh, we didn't hit on the set design. Guys, the set design in the movie was amazing. Like the house on Neibold Street for sure. Bev's house, Bill's house, the sewers were so awesome.
Yeah.
Like all of the set design and the art direction in the film was amazing. Agreed. It really was.
Yes, it was. It was. Once again, scope, like we were saying, and just the fact that it felt like a feature film compared to something on TV. So.
Well, here's the thing. Aylin Servin, I love you guys. Zombie Amarth, with the criticism of Bill not stuttering, do you feel like it takes away from the new film at all, or do you feel like they'd rather have it? Here's the thing, Zombie Amarth. you're making an assumption. Bill stuttered through the whole damn movie.
Yeah, because they didn't show him stuttering in the trailers.
Just because they didn't show him in the trailers doesn't mean he didn't stutter at all. He stuttered through the whole thing.
He's still stuttering Bill. Yeah.
So absolutely. This is Ryan who said, oh, okay, Rival Film is Ryan who sat next to us. Cool.
Yes. That guy's awesome.
So you didn't realize it? I heard you upset at the end that you're like, not everything needs to be franchised. Did you not know that this was meant to be 2 parts the whole time? I'm curious. I meant to say something, but I'm like, it's not my place.
Yeah, because from the get-go, even when Cary Fukunaga was attached to it, he was like, I want to do 2 separate films. And technically, they did 2 separate miniseries. It was a 2-parter. You know, it was a 4-hour television event, even though it was only about 3 hours in length in total. And so I'm much happier with getting a separate bit of 2.5-hour films in comparison with just one big long thing, which even if they made it 3 hours theatrically, I still feel like I was critical of what they skipped over in this just with the kids because of the fact that the book is so long and there's interesting things that they touched upon that weren't initially touched upon, but there's one scene in particular that's not there that it's a
bummed you out, huh?
That I really was hoping was going to be there and it wasn't.
Well, I didn't have that problem.
Big time scene. I can talk about it for the spoilers, but there's
Ms. Bond just logged on and said, make sure you watch American Horror Story. So she watched it.
Okay.
And she actually, her Facebook post said, let's give this a try. So to go from let's give this a try to make sure you watch it.
Evan Peters.
That sounds pretty good. So thank you for the advice. Insidious series, Rubber Soul approved. Let's see, okay. Is it safe to buy popcorn to watch this movie? Yeah, we ate some.
We ate popcorn. I don't often buy corn, but I want some.
Michael Plum says, seeing it this Friday, can't wait.
Yeah.
Tyrone, and last name, does it shapeshift? Yes.
Yes.
Quite a few times. And quite scarily. Dude, I'm telling you, and especially towards the end, when there was kind of a lot of it going on.
And that's not even spoiler.
I loved it!
It's not even spoilery, though, because they kind of implied things in the trailers. And if you're familiar with the character, I mean, you're probably hoping that was going to happen the entire time. So.
Do you have a favorite Pennywise quote? I do, but I'd have to see it again. Mm-hmm. The only one that jumps to mind...
I'm definitely planning on seeing it again.
I'm going to see it again, and I'm going to see it in IMAX. The one that comes to mind that really rang for me was... I'll only say that. I won't say when it happens or anything like that, but I loved that.
There was some stuff about talking about tenderizing the meat that I
really he was so... He had so many good lines. So many.
Because he does actually talk. People were worried, ourselves included. They're like, oh, they don't have Pennywise talking in the trailers. How's he gonna sound?
And it's so funny too. It's so funny because the Late Late Horror Show Dino put up a poll on his Facebook recently, a few days ago actually, that said who's scarier, and it was both Pennywise clowns. And I was like, it's tough to tell without having seen the new clown.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm just basing it on the pictures, just the clowns. And I'm like, still, after having seen it, 100% it's the new Pennywise.
It definitely is, and it's not. That comparison isn't fair when we've all probably seen the miniseries already, and none of us had seen the new film yet. So, if you've seen the movie, you're gonna have like Tim Curry's mannerisms and all these other things in your head in contrast with just an image and very little that you've experienced from it. So, they made him scary. They succeeded in that. They really did. It's definitely Skarsgård mentioned in some of his press. He was like, I wasn't really trying to do the Tim Curry, I was trying to just do my own thing and make it my own. And he did. He succeeded there.
Sounds very aloof.
Yeah. He's so stoic and kind of quiet and ponderous.
I don't care. Dude, this was Heath Ledger level baddiness. Like Heath Ledger level clowny scariness.
And that was PG-13, and this is a full
This was he was so good. So we had regards from Argentina from Sergio saying awesome review. Benjamin Calderon, I'm always satisfied with every video. I love it. Question, what are your thoughts on the overall portrayal of the original film? Luckily, we just put up our review yesterday. Monday. So a couple videos back, you can check out what we thought of it.
It has its merits.
Scuba Steve!
I still love it.
You think King approves of this version of it?
He said that there's a video floating around of him that had the quote, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was.
That's because he's used to seeing his movies not be good.
Yeah, probably.
This one was good.
Especially this year in particular.
This one was very good.
We still have 2 more King adaptations coming in Gerald's Game in 1922. So.
Turtle, is there a turtle? Well, you do see a turtle briefly in the trailer.
There's some references.
And that turtle is there, and then there is a couple of audible references. So
yeah.
Let's see. Mauricio, question. Turtle? Everyone's asking about the turtle. James Haslam, I don't know what you're saying. Tundra Blue, now I really want to see this. Young Knight, I was shocked with how handsome the actor for Pennywise was. Yeah,
he's a good-looking dude.
He rocked it out, man. So much. It was amazing. Ant Banks, how was the rock fight scene? I dug the rock fight scene, actually. I did not watch it ahead of time. Did you not? Oh, you seem not so happy with it.
I enjoyed it, but I like the one in the original better.
Forgive me.
Yeah,
allergy season in Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, without saying too much, both are brief fights, but I like the original one better.
How long did you need to see kids throwing rocks at each other, man?
It's true. This one was more...
Jeez.
This one was more violent, I guess.
Yeah, it was pretty aggressive. Yeah. And by the way, the bullies were way like scarier to me.
They play like Anthrax or something during
this
the rock
to me,
fight.
I gotta say, the bullies, these bullies are way scarier than the '50s bullies that like had that stupid freaking Doyle garbage.
I felt like the King did '50s bullies better in Sometimes They Come Back, and I felt
the bullies in Sometimes They Come Back are good.
Yeah, and I felt like he was trying to hit that same kind of beat with the Bowers group in the 50s stuff with
and he failed.
I don't think he failed, but it just I felt like these kids had a little bit more menace. They really did. It felt more R-rated, and it was definitely bloodier in some of the stuff that Bowers does, and beating up on Ben and going after Mike and stuff like that. I mean, yeah.
Scott Michaels is here. Did Curry do a cameo? No. Do not expect that.
You do see in the clown scene, though.
You saw in the trailer too.
There's like a little nod.
There's a nod to the
design.
original costume of Pennywise. Yes. Let's see. Dallas Cowboys. I watched old It when I was 5. Nice. That's a good age to watch it.
I think I was 7.
You want to be screwed up for the rest of your life.
7 or 8 when I watched it, and yeah, it effed me up bad.
So Tim Curry's Pennywise was unhinged. Skarsgård's was flat out terrifying. Rubber Soul asks. Yes.
Yeah, they did. There's not really.
Yep, that's a very good way to put it.
There's not a lot of laughter to what he does. I mean, maybe in a dark, humorous
in a very dark, humorous way,
but not really very prevalently.
But
it's a dark take on it.
Here's a good way to put it. He was Pennywise in the original It was very much clown.
Yeah.
In this one, he's very much
more
something being a clown.
Yeah, very much.
Very much more something being a clown. It was so much an
It. Straight up clown.
Exactly. In the original, it was all clown all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes clown with sharp teeth until you got to Spider.
This felt very much wolf in sheep's clothing.
Honestly, if they get to Spider in part 2, I would say they have so much more earned it after everything they showed us in this one.
They would have to do it. I mean,
but it would be so earned because it's like, okay, this isn't a clown. This is a thing affecting the look of a clown. They leaned on that, and my God, was it terrifying and effective as a result.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. So, all right. Fire at the Black Spot. Yes. In a couple of different instances, you got references to that.
References to it, yeah. They're saying they're going to do it full on in the new one.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, I thought we got enough. It did come a little out of nowhere right at the beginning.
Well, that was actually not even that. Remember, that was his childhood thing.
No, I'm talking about Mike. Mike saw it early on.
But it was something that he explained later, remember?
Oh, you're right. Okay, you're right. Sorry.
And yet that was what I thought, too, when they were first showing it. And so it was kind of sad. Something about Mike that I got to mention, there's an interesting cameo as his grandfather.
Yeah, Amanda, this is a good point to bring up, actually. I was scared the TV spots and trailers showed too much of the movie, but it looks like it didn't.
No, they didn't. It's a long movie.
It is a long movie, and I'm telling you guys, if you think they showed all of the sort of scary hints, there's just so much of it.
There's a significant amount, and
it's
honestly,
so good.
Very few of them were shown in the promotional material.
Very few.
I gotta say, because there's a lot of terrorist beats.
The bullies get a good amount of time. Enough.
Yeah, I'd say they do.
Enough for me.
One, not enough for me, but
Live Apes rule. How graphic is the Georgie arm scene? way more graphic than I thought it was going to be.
It's R-rated.
Yeah, that's all I'll say.
It's R-rated.
Way more graphic than I thought. It's almost as if, and honestly, since it's the opening scene, I don't feel bad saying this, but it's almost as if when the miniseries faded to black, this one's just like, I'm just going to pick up right from where that left off and just really show it.
Yeah, and that's honestly,
and dude, it does.
And for me, that's where they laid all their cards on the table with how far they were going to go with this.
That was the laying this out that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it was like the confirmation kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. All right, Dead Boy Hitch, did it stick with Fukunawa's vision or not? I mean, how do we know?
We don't really know. And I've heard his script is floating around, and there's a part of me that wants to read it. I've heard that he wanted to go much more graphic with certain things, like with Bev's father, and also with having the kid scene where there's some intimate stuff.
Yeah, that's
which they
Aubert, is for someone who didn't enjoy the original, is it worth seeing in theaters? Yes.
Damn right.
Yes, absolutely. Because the original for a lot of people was just not very good. And in retrospect, I did not like it in retrospect as much nearly. And in fact, I watched the Nostalgia Critic review of it, which was hilarious.
Oh, I'm sure that didn't taint.
It was a hilarious breakdown of it, but no, this is absolutely worth seeing, even if you saw the original and did not like it. Tim Davis, you guys are in AZ. Heard Bill may not come back for part 2. Really hoping he continues his role. I guarantee you.
If this makes the money that they're anticipating,
this is absolutely. And here's another thing. Again, our friend Eric from the Death Twitch channel on YouTube. He posted something. Do you think that this hype is going to live up to it? And we have covered numerous times, lest any of you guys think that we are hype buyers into.
No,
we did not like It Follows, and we were not huge fans of The Babadook.
I liked The Witch. He didn't.
I hated The Witch. So yeah, no, we are not fans of the hype. Yeah. This movie lived up to the hype and surpassed it. Like, I'm talking surpassed it so much so that there was. The thing I keep wanting to bring up, and I alluded to it earlier when I said the slideshow scene turns so much scarier than what you see in the theater.
Yeah, that's good.
That legitimately, again, I can't stress this enough, I legitimately jumped back in my seat a little bit because I wanted to get away.
Yeah.
I wanted to get away. It's the thing that terrifies me.
And an even bigger screen.
Yeah, that's why I want to see it on IMAX, and I want to take Brittany with me because it'll be hilarious. Okay, so does it depend on jump scares? No. There's there's some, but there's a lot of unnerving things, and the visuals are freaky enough that even after the chase scene begins, that you see a glimpse of with Eddie, that is still unnerving even after the reveal. So it doesn't necessarily take just the jump scare.
Yeah, that's when the visuals and the set design are so crucial, and the makeup effects as well, because of the fact that while there's certain flashes to certain characters, there's other stuff that you get a very good glimpse of the horrific look of, these forms, and it's effective.
Yeah, I guess some not so savory characters jumped onto the chat here, so we'll wrap it up. It doesn't matter. Rocky Treadway says, "Is the bike silver given its screen time?" I don't know what you mean, but it is called Silver.
Yeah, it's the name of Bill's bike. Yeah. It's only the first half, so yeah.
All right, so
you don't hear the iconic phrase, which bummed me out.
Would you be opposed to them changing around the second half of the film? Most people dislike the adult parts. What if they kept Stan alive? Would that ruin the whole thing for you?
Ooh, that's spoiler.
Well, that was from. And he's asking about the miniseries.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. The miniseries is fine how it is. It's separate from this. So let's stick to this.
I still like the miniseries, and I don't know. This changed a few things that, fans of the source material would be like, they changed that, they changed that, they changed that. So I'm not going to be surprised if there's some extensive changes in the second half, but we'll have to wait and see, man. I don't know.
Any links to the tower? That's a legitimate question. Nothing that I saw beyond the turtle, yeah. Let's see. Have you been to the house on Hollywood and Vine? No.
Yeah, we wanted
but
to.
Evan
so
did
bad.
get to go.
That bastard. Well, I'm just kidding. We love you, Evan.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that just plays in once again with where the set design and the makeup effects and everything built the tension very well, and it didn't just rely on the jumpy scare shite. or the gore. It was just it was a balanced mixture of so much, from the frightastic to the hilarious, just quips and interplay between the kids, and yeah, it was very.
Someone asked,
very
how many
layered.
things does he turn into? I'd say there's at least 5 different iterations.
Yeah,
of
I'd say maybe
Pennywise
like
in
a
this.
half dozen.
Yeah. All right, so you guys, thank you very much
Yes.
for
Gracias.
doing this. Let's call this before the comments go super ugly. But I
Yeah, we've been
really
on for over
appreciate
an
you
hour
guys.
now, so.
Yeah, it was a nice long review, but it was worth it. Thank you guys very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you go see the movie. It is worth your time. And
your
again,
dinero.
yeah, we will be back here this Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to do our live spoiler review. So watch it Thursday, watch it
I
Friday.
got so much to say.
Come back and watch us talk about spoilers. And then next Tuesday, come back at 7 p.m. Well, 5 p.m. we'll be doing our news live. 7 p.m. we will be doing our live call-in show where you guys can call and tell us what you thought of the movie. So let us know. I hope I've been looking at the right thing.
I hope so too.
Anyway. All right. Let us know what you guys thought if you're watching this after the fact, or if you guys are excited about it. Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I have been Jaime Fuego.
And remember,
Hail
stay
to Stephen King!
Damn it, I knew you were going to do that. All right, ready? And remember, stay scared. And hail to Stephen King! Woo!
Baby.
Have a good night, guys.
Peace out.